By way of, I guess, officially introducing myself, my name is Aldreama Harper, and I'm a certified business organizing strategist, or certified organizational specialist, business organizing strategist, and coach. I am also the host of the Organizepreneur podcast, where I help female entrepreneurs for unstoppable business success. Basically, what I do is I help through my signature framework, I help my clients to organize, optimize, systemize, and then monetize. And I help my clients to create unstoppable, sustainable success by igniting the business of their dreams. So that's a little bit about me. And so we're going to get into the content here. All right. So today we're going to dive into part two of the power and impact of effective time management. We talked on part one on last week. We talked about time management, but that was part one. So we talked a little bit about how highly effective and productive people achieve up to 50% more when they manage their time effectively. Okay. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Today I'm going to be talking about a little bit of mindset stuff around time management. Okay. But when you don't manage your time well, here's what happens. Your business won't grow. The number of clients won't grow. Let me get some water real quick. Throat got kind of dry there. So your business won't grow, the number of clients won't grow, your income won't grow, but your stress will. How about that? And so it's really crucial to manage your time more effectively, particularly when you're in the online space, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a consultant, if you have a small business. It's really, really crucial, to do that. Hold on one more second. Got to get water again. I didn't have enough. Hold on. I'm going to mute the mic here. All right. So that ought to do it this time. So that's what happens when you don't manage your time well, among other things, right? It really does affect your personal life and your business life when you don't manage your time well. So today, we're going to talk about the 4 levels of respect. The 4 levels of respect. Now, I go in depth in a training that I have. We're not going to go in depth today, but I do go into more depth in my training, and it's called 7 Keys to Get Your Time Back. That's the name of it. So we're just going to talk about one aspect of it, and we're going to talk about the 4 levels of respect. And yes, RESPECT. Put a little respect on that time, right? And so when it comes to respect by definition is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something. So in this case, we're talking about our time. If you have a deep respect for your time, then there are certain things that you are going to do. You're going to protect it. You're going to guard it. You're going to have more value on your time, right? And so let's start with the first level. So when you have respect, when you put respect on your time, the first step is respecting time itself. right? Respecting the fact that time is more valuable, it's a commodity. It does not equal money. And I think it's very, very important to understand that, because that's one of the first things that people will say when I say time equals money. That's what people say, but it does not equal money. It's way more valuable than money because you cannot get your time back, right? But you can always make more money. Sometimes you don't feel like it. It's like, I'm not making any money right now, but you can never, ever get your time back. And and so respecting time is also about respecting the seasons. Ecclesiastes 3:1-8 talks about the fact that there's a time and a season for everything under the sun. But here's what time management is, or is not. Okay. Time management is not about managing time. It's about honoring agreements, keeping commitments, the things, the agreements and the commitments that you make concerning your time, right? Because you cannot manage time, but what you can do is honor agreements. You can keep commitments as it relates to your time. And the last thing about respecting time is that it cannot be reproduced, but it can be redeemed. According to Ecclesiastes 5:16, it talks about redeeming the time, right? And so that's the first level of respect, is respecting time. The next level of respect is respecting your time. When you respect your time, guess what happens? You don't have any tolerance for those who disrespect your time. Like, you value your time. So you're going to be on time for appointments. You're going to be on time if it kills you. I don't know about you. It stresses me when I am not on time for something, right? I value my time, and I also value the time of others. We'll talk about that in just a second. But when you respect your time, you value your time, and you love time more than money. So you're going to be doing the things that's going to free up your time, right? That's what it means. You love time more than money. Instead of you chasing pennies, trying to save, $5 here, a few dollars here, just to save money, when you can, when you have the right perspective about respecting your time, you're going to look at it a little bit differently, right? So you're going to do things that give you more time freedom rather than money, right? Because when you spend money on things like getting the support that you need, maybe it's purchasing courses or, whatever that is, so that you can learn a skill that's going to make you more money, right? Then that means you love time more than you love money, because you're investing in yourself. And then the last thing about respecting your time is you're going to stop selling your hours for dollars. I don't know about you, but I tell people that when you sell there, let me say it this way. There is really no amount of money that anyone can pay me for my time, because it's too valuable, right? So you can't pay me $50 an hour for my time, right? And so and when I, sell my packages or my courses or my consulting or whatever, I don't ever say anything about, like, well, it's going to be $50 an hour. It's going to be, this, I don't talk about hours, because I'm not selling you hours for my time. Okay. So your mindset has to be different about how you value your time and how you respect your time. And when you do, you're going to stop selling your hours for dollars. And because that really, when you think about selling hours for dollars, that's really more like an employee mindset, right? Because then you're like, when you worked, as an employee, you're like, maybe you made $15 an hour, maybe you made $30 an hour, what have you. So at that time, you were selling hours for dollars, but now you're a boss, baby. So stop selling your hours for dollars and put a little respect on your time. Okay. So that's level number 2. Number 3 is respecting the time of others, because when you respect your time, you are going to respect the time of others. And when you respect the time of others, of other people, that gives them a picture of what it looks like to respect my time. I'll give you an example. So I had someone that got on my calendar. It might have been about a month ago, and it was an initial, it was like a 15-minute coffee chat, right? Well, when you get on my calendar for a 15-minute coffee chat, you got 3 to 5 minutes to show up. Okay. If you don't show up, we're done. So, but I will allow someone to schedule one more time. Okay. So this person actually got on my schedule again the second time. And the second time the person got on my schedule, I happened to have her phone number because we've talked before. So I was like, well, maybe something is going on. Let me give her a little bit of grace, right? So I text her, and so she said, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. Do you are you still available? I said, sure, come on in. So we had the coffee chat, and that was to find out a little bit more about what she needed help with, right? So the 15 minutes of conversation that we had, because I had other things that I was doing, we had to go into I allowed her to schedule a consultation, because what we had discussed was not enough time to go into depth, right, about what she needed done. She needed some systems, and so that requires a more in-depth conversation. So scheduled another appointment. This time she didn't show up. And so when people don't show up, not only do they get an email from me saying that, hey, we had an appointment at a certain amount of time. I'm sure that it was an oversight, blah, blah, blah. And so she got that email. And so she responded, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Do you are you still available? Well, this time I said no, because that's like number 3. You had too many times, and now you are disrespecting my time, right? There's no value to you. Obviously, you don't value my time. So no, I'm not going to allow you to get back on my calendar again, so that you can either be late or not show up. And that way, I'm not frustrated. You're not frustrated. That leaves my calendar open for someone else who actually values my time, right? So anyway, so she never did, reschedule or anything like that, because I value my time. I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to be there early. When someone gets on my calendar, I'm there early. I'm sitting there waiting for you to show up, right? And so, but when you put respect on your time and the time of others, that shows them a picture of what it looks like, and they're more likely to reciprocate. So she is not trying to get back on my calendar, because we're done with that, right? And when you respect the time of others, you're sowing seeds of respect. According to Galatians, for whatever a man sows, this he will also reap. And so you really, when you add that third level, right, of respect of your time, respecting your time, and respecting the time of others, right, you are incorporating a new mindset when it comes to your time. Okay. And so the last one is respecting agreements. Every time you get up, you make an agreement. You make an agreement with either chaos or order. And so if you don't have an agenda, or if you don't know exactly what you're going to be working on, and you haven't planned your day, you by default, you're making an agreement with chaos. Like anybody can call you, you're making an agreement with distractions, shiny objects, when you do not have some type of agenda. And I'm not saying that everything has to be, at this time I'm going to be doing this, and this time I'm going to be doing that, and you don't allow the flexibility. But what I am saying is that make sure that you sit down and have an idea in terms of what you're going to be working on. As an entrepreneur, this is really, really important. So level 4 is about respecting agreements. Respect your commitments to yourself and the agreements that you make. And here's the thing about the agreements that you make to yourself. When you don't honor those agreements and the commitments that you make to yourself and the activities that you're going to engage in, then it's like an internal breach that happens. And what happens is you no longer believe anything that you tell yourself. Because if you dishonor the agreements that you make with yourself, and you say, well, I'm not, I know I said I was going to work on this, but I'm not going to work on that. I know I said I was going to do this, make, 5 phone calls or whatever. I'm not going to do that. So the next time you sit down and you either you write it down, or however you manage your time, the next time you do that, you're going to be saying to yourself, you know what? I don't even believe what I told myself, so I'm not going to do it. I probably won't do it. So it's like you no longer believe what you're telling yourself. So you give yourself a pass, right? So these are the 4 levels of agreements that I believe are very, very essential to you as an entrepreneur, to you as a small business owner, whether it's personal or whether it's in business. These 4 levels of agreements are very, very essential. And for anyone who just came in, I talked about the 4 levels of respect. And those 4 levels are respecting time, respecting your time, respecting the time of others, and then respecting agreements. Okay.